At first glance, Jax from the Amazing Digital Circus seems like nothing more than a bully, a cruel character who thrives on manipulating others for his own amusement. But is that really all there is to him? What if his harsh exterior is hiding a much more complicated story? As we peel back the layers, we may find that Jax isn't simply evil, but is, in fact, one of the most tragic and complex characters in the series. Today, we're going beyond the surface to explore the true motivations behind his actions and how this could lead to a profound narrative arc. If you think you already understand Jax, you might want to think again. Let's take a deeper look. Jax immediately stands out as the antagonist in the Amazing Digital Circus. He's brash, unapologetically cruel, and seems to find genuine joy in making others uncomfortable. According to Gooseworks, the creator of the series, Jax is supposedly the most deserving of being trapped in this surreal digital world. But what exactly does that mean? Does it imply he's inherently evil, or is there something more beneath the surface? As the narrative progresses, we're given subtle hints that Jax is far more complicated than he first appears. On the surface, Jax is a manipulator. He knows how to get under people's skin and isn't afraid to exploit their weaknesses. It's not just about teasing. He pushes his victims to their emotional limits. In a digital world where physical pain doesn't exist, Jax inflicts psychological wounds, leaving scars that aren't as easily healed. This raises an unsettling question. Is his cruelty a byproduct of his environment, or is it an intrinsic part of who he is? And if this is how he acts in a place without real-world consequences, what does that say about who he was before being trapped in the circus? Interestingly, there are moments when Jax's behavior isn't as straightforward as it seems. Take, for instance, his interactions with Zubul. While he continues to antagonize them, he consistently respects their pronouns. Now, considering Jax's reputation, this is a curious detail. If he truly lacked any respect for the others, why would he bother with this? One interpretation is that respecting pronouns is simply normalized within the world of the Amazing Digital Circus. However, another possibility is that Jax, beneath all the mockery, does acknowledge certain boundaries. This suggests that his cruelty is selective and calculated, revealing a degree of control and perhaps even respect that he refuses to show openly. This brings us to another crucial scene, Jax breaking Gangle's mask. Once again, he's the instigator, but this time he claims it wasn't intentional. Ragatha immediately challenges him, accusing him of being heartless. But was he? Some viewers interpreted his reaction as genuine, hinting that Jax felt a pang of guilt. Yet others argue he was merely trying to avoid confrontation, knowing full well how the group perceives him. This ambiguity is what makes Jax so compelling. He's a character who never fully reveals his hand, leaving us questioning his true motives. To understand why Jax behaves the way he does, we need to look at a fascinating theory that's been circulating among fans. Some believe that Jax might have been unfairly labeled as the bad kid in his past. Children who are constantly blamed, whether for mischief or accidents, often internalize this role, eventually embracing the villain label because they feel it's inevitable. If Jax grew up feeling like he was always going to be accused of wrongdoing, it's not hard to see why he would eventually start living up to those expectations. This isn't merely a fictional trope, it's a harsh reality for many people who are typecast early in life. One of the most revealing moments for Jax's character occurs when he asks Pomni how she's doing. It's a simple question, but coming from Jax, it's entirely unexpected. Pomni's immediate suspicion speaks volumes. She assumes it's a setup, that Jax is preparing to mock her. And frankly, who could blame her? Jax's reputation precedes him, to the point where even a seemingly sincere gesture is seen as manipulation. Yet if you look closely, you'll notice Jax isn't in his usual playful mood. He appears genuinely exhausted, perhaps even vulnerable. Was this an attempt to connect? Was Jax finally letting his guard down, only to be met with distrust? This moment leads to an interesting theory about Jax's real-world identity. We know that Gangle was a shift manager outside the digital circus. This has led some to speculate that Jax might have been one of her employees, someone who had little authority and was constantly told what to do. If this is true, then his behavior in the digital world starts to make more sense. In reality, Jax may have felt powerless, and in the circus, he compensates for that by becoming the one in control. He's gone from being at the bottom of the hierarchy to ruling his own twisted kingdom of manipulation. But the most striking moment comes when Gangle orders him to get back to work, and Jax complies without a fight. For someone as defiant as Jax, this is significant. It shows that even in this digital world, he's not completely free from his past. And when he says goodbye to Pomni, his tone is unusually sincere, almost empathetic. This suggests that Jax is far more emotionally complex than his cruel facade lets on. The tragedy of Jax's character is rooted in his isolation. If he continues reaching out only to be rejected, his bitterness could evolve into something far more dangerous. He might decide that if he can't be a part of the group, then no one should. The series has already hinted at his talent for manipulating the system's rules. If his anger and frustration grow, he could try to tear everything down out of spite, leading to a dark and devastating conclusion. Imagine Jax exploiting the system to abstract everyone else, ensuring that if he's going to suffer, they will too. It's a chilling thought, but it fits with the show's psychological horror themes. The Amazing Digital Circus isn't afraid to explore dark narratives, and Jax's story could easily become one of the most haunting. Jax isn't just a bully. He's a character weighed down by emotional baggage, shaped by past experiences we've yet to fully understand. Whether he finds redemption or succumbs to his darker impulses, his journey promises to be one of the most compelling arcs in the series. If you're as intrigued as I am by Jax's complex character, you're not alone. He's one of the most layered and unpredictable figures in the Amazing Digital Circus, and his story has the potential to take us to some truly dark and fascinating places. Whether he finds redemption or fully embraces his more sinister instincts, one thing is certain: Jax will continue to challenge our perceptions and keep us questioning what's real and what's merely a facade. If you don't want to miss out on future analyses, character deep dives, and narrative breakdowns of the Amazing Digital Circus, be sure to subscribe. We're just scratching the surface of this complex digital world, and there's so much more to explore. Join us as we continue to unravel the mysteries, piece by piece.